evening, all. Welcome to the November 18, 2025 business meeting of the Board of Education. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, for anybody who's not aware of the emergency exits, we have one to the back over here and then the other two to the rear. I need a motion for the order of agenda, please.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Clerk's report, Ma'am.
Be it resolved that the Board of Education accepts the minutes of the following meetings: Audit Committee meeting, October 21, 2025, and Special BOE meeting, October 21st, 2025.
I need a motion for approval.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Public comment. Speakers will be recognized who wish to address the board on agenda items only. If we're early on that. What's that? Oh, there you go. All right, we're going to start with our students of the month. Who would like to go first? Mr. Meyer.
Good evening, Hampton Bays. Thank you, Mr. Springer. As we get ready to head into the Thanksgiving season, we have a lot to be thankful for with our October Student of the Month. I'd like to ask Mrs. Dunkirk, please come up and join me, Mrs. Pega. All right, I'd like to ask Victoria Ramirez Guzman. Come on up and join us, Victoria. We are proud to have nominated Victoria for Student of the Month. Victoria excels both academically and socially. She's a responsible third grader who is always prepared for class and eager to transition to math and reading. While Victoria says math is her favorite subject, she's also excited to participate in activities across the curriculum. Victoria is a leader in and out of the classroom. She was recently chosen to be a student council representative. She is often found helping other students or creating an inclusive environment on the playground. Victoria enjoys extracurricular activities as well. At home, she likes to play with her 3 cats and help her mom. She's also a proud member of the Hampton Bays cheerleading team. One day, Victoria hopes to own an Italian restaurant, and she makes a mean chicken parmesan. We would say she is heading in a great direction. It is our pleasure to have nominated Victoria Ramirez Guzman for Student of the Month. We expect big things out of Victoria in the future. Congratulations.
Come over for some of that chicken parm.
Thank you, Mr. Meyer. Mr. Shug?
Good evening. Happy holidays. It is my pleasure to introduce Hampton Bays Middle School's Student of the Month for October, 7th grader Sandy Mejia Lopez. Putting the kid to work. A warm welcome also to Sandy's family. Sandy, this is for you. Here's the hardware. Okay, you can stand up here with me. Sandy Mejia Lopez was nominated by Team Triumph. A warm welcome to Sandy's family also. Before we begin, I want to make sure we are on here. Are you able to hear that? Okay, before we begin, I'd like to tell everybody that we're using Time Kettle app, which is proven to strengthen two-way communication at HBMS. I'll read it in English, and Sandy's mom and dad will hear my words in Spanish. Time Kettle's proven to be a great tool for teachers to communicate with individual students and their parents. HBMS continues to appreciate this investment in communication tech tools, and it will help at next week's parent-teacher conferences as well. And no, I don't work for the company. Now, on to our Student of the Month. Here's what her teachers had to say about Sandy. Sandy Mejia Lopez has been selected as Team Triumph's Student of the Month for October. Sandy embodies the spirit of Team Triumph by approaching every day with determination, positivity, and perseverance. She consistently puts forth her best effort, participates actively in class, and demonstrates a strong commitment to her learning. Her hard work and resilience have led her to noticeable academic growth, and she serves as a wonderful example of what it means to overcome challenges and never let anything stand in her way. Sandy shared that her two favorite subjects this year are math and ELA. She enjoys solving equations and challenging word problems in Ms. Liu's class. She loves writing in Ms. Gunderson's class, most recently about poems. When we talk about her classes for the last 3 years of middle school, she said that Ms. Liu is her favorite because she always helps her learn new things and explains things step by step. She also named her 6th grade science teacher, Mr. Neidiger, and her 5th grade math teacher, Ms. Reynolds, as two other go-to people she can count on because, like Ms. Liu and Ms. Gunderson, they're always willing to help her. Outside of her core subjects, Sandy is willing to play volleyball, and she is a cheerleader. Probably not at the same time, though. She did say that she is very interested in playing volleyball for the girls' team next year. When not in school, Sandy enjoys fresh air, jumping on her trampoline, and climbing on the playground. She has enjoyed reading the classic Percy Jackson series and likes to read mysteries as well. She also shared that she is curious about becoming an orthodontist. Sandy's most recent Naviance report shows that she has potential in production and marketing, designing and planning, and providing education and training to others. Her strongest Holland traits are artistic, enterprising, and realistic. One thing's for certain, if Sandy continues on her current path and accesses what she likes and what she's good at, she is going to have a bright future ahead of her. Sandy's advice to new HBMS students: be positive about yourself and always work hard, even if you make mistakes. Never stop trying to get better at what you do. I love that. Congratulations, Sandy, on this achievement. HBMS is proud of you and looks forward to many exciting accomplishments in your future. Congratulations.
Mr. Richard?
Hey, good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce the High School Student of the Month for the month of October, Senior Luke David. Stand over. I'm going to read a little paragraph supplied by Mrs. Perez, who nominated Luke. Luke David is an excellent student. His grade in English is currently 101. Not only does he complete his work in a timely and thorough manner, but he is an active, engaged learner who asks thoughtful questions to further his understanding. In addition to English class, I know Luke through his participation in the high school's theatrical productions. He has grown from a 9th grader, who he kind of forced to join the stage crew because his sister was in the show, to a true leader as the student stage manager. Luke has shown tremendous growth throughout high school. He is bright, thoughtful, a mature young man, takes responsibility seriously, but isn't afraid to be a little goofy sometimes. I started my day with Luke today, and he began by offering me some banana bread and talking to me about Belmont Abbey College in North Carolina that recently accepted him, and then Fairbanks University in Alaska. But that's not early enough. Luke is really keeping his options open. We've got applications out in Norwich, Vermont, Catholic University of America in D.C. In New York, we got Manhattan University, Fordham, Binghamton. We're looking at a couple of schools in Massachusetts, including Boston University. Maybe not Air Force, ROTC. We're not sure if all the schools are going to host that. We are really keeping options open. And I really like this approach, especially for Luke, who's got the ability to do anything, anywhere successfully. If you want to not see him in action in the stage crew on Thursday and Friday Friday and Saturday, our performances of the Crucible, stage crew is not often seen, but he's one of the linchpins to making everything work. So we're looking forward to a great show and some busy nights for Luke. So congratulations.
All right, we're going to move on with Ms. Strohan.
Thank you for having us here tonight. Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we recognize 9 students who have earned their position to be formally inducted as new members of our National Honor Society chapter. According to the selection procedures outlined in the Honor Society Handbook, the voting members of the Faculty Council select students who demonstrate outstanding performance in all four criteria of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. These students are to be commended for their hard work in the HB community. On behalf of the faculty here at Hampton Bays High School, I proudly present these elite and prestigious representatives from our Hampton Bays schools. It is at this time that we proclaim that membership in the Hampton Bays chapter of the National Honor Society has been earned by these candidates through the effective demonstration of the 4 qualities that serve as standards for the society. We will now begin with the official induction of all new members. I invite students to step forward to receive your token of membership with Mr. Richard and sign the official chapter register with Mr. Luce. William Barletta. Sarah Herrera. William Hurdle. Michael Nuns. Leah Russell. Trey Scudder. Good job. Tyler Turley. Franklin Veliz Hernandez. And Mateo Villano.
Okay. At this time, will the new inductees please raise your right hand and repeat the pledge? I pledge to uphold high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. And will maintain and encourage the high standards of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Perfect. Flawless. Congratulations.
All right, a little more presentations here. Let's go with Mr. Foster.
All right, good evening, everyone. Can I have Coach Bobby Sutton please come up front? I wanted to recognize and take a moment to go over Coach Sutton here, who has been with us for over 10 years with middle school lacrosse, varsity football, and varsity basketball. His dedication to student athletes has been beyond extraordinary. We're profoundly grateful for your service and our commitment to our community. You've had your children go through here. We've had the pleasure of teaching them, coaching them, and your last one is on their journey going through the doors this year, or excuse me, next year. We've taught our athletes about character, resilience, and teamwork, lessons that will last long after the season ends. By far, you're one of the most upstanding men that I've ever had the chance to be around, especially in the coaching environment. On behalf of the board, administration, and community, we cannot thank you enough for all you've done for our student athletes, and we wish you a long and happy retirement. Next, I'd like to call up Coach Stevens and Coach Moran and any of the boys volleyball that are in attendance. As many of you know, this was our first season hosting a varsity boys volleyball team. They were small but mighty, starting with 6, but ending with almost double of that. My deepest gratitude goes out to these exceptional coaches for their vision, dedication, and positive energy, which was critical in this season's success. They didn't just coach a team, but they helped build it from the ground up. The season got off to a courageous start, competing against some powerhouse teams, which they hung with very well, going against Shore-and-Wading River, Bayport, and other strong opponents. They also had some county-wide recognition as well. Charlie Patek, #1 in serving aces, and #2 in the county in digs, as well as Peyton Single, who led the county in digs with 316. But more importantly, the coaches fostered a phenomenal environment of team bonding and successfully created a cohesive, supportive unit that is the true foundation of this new program. The success of this inaugural team, driven by the players, dedication, and leadership of the coaches, has established a high standard for our future athletic programs. Thank you to everybody.
All right. Congratulations again to all. We are going to take a quick recess. If you'd like to take some pictures and possibly hang around for the fun stuff, it's up to you. My report. That's Back to business. We will start with Mr. Clemson.
Good evening, everybody. It's hard to believe that it was 13 years ago that we had our major construction initiative across the district, the focus on facilities. But tending to your house, as we know, personally requires you to continue tending to it, right? And so tonight we are going to we have with us Mike Ryan from Energy Systems Group, a great partner on Long Island and in the region. We're going to be embarking upon an energy performance contract. Now, Mike will tell us what exactly that means, but in short, the punchline is energy efficient enhancements to all 4 key buildings in the district: district office, the high school, elementary, and middle. Looking forward to working with you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. So just as a reminder, a refresher, activities to date in this effort, the school district issued over a year ago an RFP which we competed for and were ultimately selected to perform a comprehensive energy study at no cost to the district. And tonight we're going to present the results of that and a proposed project to provide improvements throughout the school district that will be funded through the reduction of utility cost savings. Just again, an overview of how it works and what it is. So what it is it's a strategy to build a project that provides improvements, improves the learning environment throughout the district, and it's funded through the utility cost savings, the reduction of utility dollars. So there's no impact to the taxpayer. There's no increase to budget or anything of that nature. These improvements, and I'll get into it a little more detail, but generally speaking, they're LED lighting, solar energy, HVAC upgrades, temperature control upgrades, building envelope improvements. So this project that we're proposing tonight will save the district over $17 million in the next 18 years. It will also result in $70,000 of utility rebates and $2.2 million worth of federal incentives. All of that will be used to fund $13.4 million worth of improvements throughout the district. So those improvements that we're proposing will include LED lighting upgrades throughout the entire district, converting from oil to clean, natural, energy-efficient gas of the main heating plants, temperature control upgrades and building automation throughout the district, upgrades of that. Solar on all of the buildings, which will reduce the electric bill by itself by 77%. Roof restoration at the middle school, which will give the district another 20-year warranty on that roof. In addition to that, a lot of smaller things that add up to a lot of savings, like boiler controllers, kitchen hood controllers, steam trap replacement, retro commissioning of the existing HVAC systems, building the transformer replacement, insulation, weatherization, HVAC motor changeout, upgrading HVAC in the administration building, and destratification fans. In addition, when we do these projects, we use it as an opportunity for student engagement, to have the students learn from the project. Some of those things that we do is we have them come along with us as we're designing and everything like that to learn about the engineering, to learn about the construction and how that works. Expose them to the different professions involved, expose them to the different trades involved. We do a career exploration program as part of it, where we introduce them to each one of those professions and trades, how they got there and things like that, and let them ask questions. See if we can inspire them into the industry. Then finally, what the schedule would look like. So if this is approved tonight, that will allow us to move ahead with design with the architect, BBS Architects, prepare to submit to New York State Education Department for approval of the project. And we would target starting construction next summer. Construction would take about 16 to 18 months. With that, any questions?
Any questions?
Besides the NICET approval, do you need federal approval?
No.
Federal?
There's no federal approval needed for the project or anything like that. There's a federal grant that the district will get, though.
Okay.
Yes.
Mike, I just want to point out a couple of things. The career piece is fantastic, and you heard Mr. Shug mention the Naviance program. That's a career profiler, and so we have the data from 6th grade all the way to 12th grade. So not only can it be assembly-type structures, but we can identify kids and put them right in front of you. One thing I wanted to mention about solar, when you look across the buildings, we had considered solar in the back middle school parking lot as those carports. You see them at the county building. There's a couple of other schools on the east end that have that, but we made the decision to go on the roof. We can get more of it. It can be higher capacity, and it just requires some roof touch-ups before we put solar down, right? Can you talk about that, Larry? Because the building is almost 20 years old at this point.
Yeah, actually, it's a big advantage. What will be part of the project will be recoating the roof. So it's not a brand new roof. It's not like you rip the old one off, put a whole brand new one down, but it's like you put a second layer on it, and you get a new warranty of 20 years on that roof. So and it covers the whole system from the ceiling right up to the top of the roof. So if there are any areas as they do this process, if they find any wet spots or something like that, they'll cut those out, they'll replace that, but then they put a whole new skin right over the top of everything. So the middle school, which we think of as the brand new school, because I was here still when we built that school, but it's not. It's almost 23 years old, and it's getting to the point where it's going to need a roof pretty soon. So this is an advantage where, okay, yeah, maybe we're a little bit ahead of time because we don't have any problems yet, but we're getting a new roof on, and then we're getting solar panels on, and we're good for about 20, 25 years before we have any worries. So,
What is the material of the roof?
it's a maybe Mike can help.
It's a silicone-based product, and it gets applied in a few coats, and it winds up being very, very, very thick. It's been used on Long Island in many schools for quite a long time. And like Larry said, it gives you a new 20-year warranty from bottom to top, you know.
Thanks, Mike. And then the other piece I wanted to mention was the fuel conversion from oil to natural gas. Members, this is important in that the natural gas, the elementary and the middle school run on oil or natural gas, where we're told by the industry it's literally a switch downstairs to convert from one to the other or back again. On Argonne Road East here, natural gas only goes roughly to Warner Road, Emerson Court, and so this project continues the gas line from that point to roughly district office and then cuts it into the building to connect to this campus. So it's great for this campus, but what then happens is a slight community benefit because anybody who lives along that run and is interested in making that conversion from oil to natural gas for their home, we don't have natural gas everywhere in Hampton Bays, so it will be a benefit to those homeowners on Argonne. So we try to be a good neighbor when we can.
Is the cost from Emerson or Warner to us all our burden, or it is?
It'll be an individual homeowner's cost to get it out from the street into the house, but this project carries the cost 100% of it.
Will this project increase our AC units in all classrooms?
So that's a great question. The energy performance contract this project does not include additional air conditioning units. However, we currently have 16, 8 on this campus and 8 at the elementary school that will be construction. The truck bed is here with the equipment in it, so construction will start imminently. Additionally, we met with our architects what day is today? Last week. And to talk about the 2027 bond. So 2012 was our first bond, like a 15-year mortgage. That comes off, and what you want to do in 2012, what we found ourselves in the situation doing was fixing a lot of things because we had just deferred it through the 90s and into the early 2000s. We went through that list, and there was very little romantic stuff, which, 2012 had all this great stuff. Turf, new art rooms, science rooms, library renovations, these great enhancements to every space in the district. And now it's like, Mike's here to talk about photovoltaic, which is awesome, Mike, no, right? But, we did a lot of the great program stuff. So, included in that program that we're looking at right now, and it's still early, it would be a 2026 vote for 2027 construction to begin. Do I have that right? Yeah. Or fall 2027.
Right.
Because it was fall 2012 when we did the last vote. That proposal will most likely include just finishing the AC across the district. A couple little places in the middle school that don't currently have it, that would have it, and then roughly half of this building and half of the elementary school. Maybe a little less by that point because we keep piecemealing these 8 at a time, but that would likely be on the program. We'll get into this more in 2026, the way you work, the way we have as a Board of Education and district worked the bonds is that when the mortgage payment is done, the next year, the same or less of a mortgage payment is the new bond. Right. We do that so that there's a zero tax impact at that time. Now, if you stopped and said we're done with construction, number one, it would probably be foolhardy, right? It would deteriorate again. Number two, if a sizable piece of debt service comes off of the books, your tax levy cap takes a dive as well. And so we've seen districts in Suffolk County who have said, we're going to retire debt service. It's great, we paid our mortgage, right? After 30 years, we paid our mortgage. And what happened was their tax levy cap became negative. And so they actually had to decrease their budget the next year by taxing the community less, while all costs in the district continued to go up. So the plan would be, when in 2012, when we embarked on this work, to keep the same mortgage payment. It turned into a $16.9 million bond. The economy has changed. Interest rates have increased. While they may decrease a little bit by then, they'll still be higher than 2012, and we anticipate that could get us between $10 and $12 million worth of work to keep that same mortgage payment. So the dollar is going less far. So we have to be careful and conservative with the projects that go on there, but we know things like HVAC are a priority.
Great, thank you.
So you asked a question, the answer was no, but you got the Lars answer.
Well, I got when it's going to be. Right. A couple years.
The EPC does work throughout the school year, right? Not some of the interruptive work would be reserved for vacations.
Yeah, so as far as the actual work, we work around the school schedule, obviously. Lighting happens usually over the summer, and if it can't all be done during the summer, which it probably would go beyond summer, then it's all done nights, evenings, and carefully scheduled. The solar work, how we do the solar in many districts is we load the roofs up usually on a weekend with all the solar panels and equipment and everything like that. The guys start early, usually at 6 a.m. They do work up on the roof just with hand tools and things like that, during the school day. And then they work the timing where they're done and away from the building before dismissal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are we going to own the solar or are we leasing the solar?
Yeah. Yes, the plan is for you to own the solar, yeah. It's, we look at different ways, but for school districts, it's always much more beneficial financially to own it, yes.
Any other questions?
And I'm sorry, one other thing, if you didn't own the solar, you would not, that's where that $2.2 million incentive is coming from. You would not get that, so it's a lost out. You know.
If you lease, you lose.
What's that?
If you lease, you lose it.
That's right, yeah, that's right.
I'd rather own it. Also.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank
Mike.
you very much.
Looking forward to
Thank you.
working with you.
Thank you.
Members, there's a resolution on tonight's agenda that awards ESG, the energy performance contract. The EPC goes to ESG. Thank you. Okay, we are into November now. Enrollment has settled in fairly consistently. We're hovering right at under 2,000 students. You can see smaller than we were last month. So Vets Day is at the beginning of October. That really, the ups and downs sort of suss out in September, but we're at 1,923. Now remember, when I talk about enrollment, I talk about unadjusted enrollment. And so that's pretending like not one student moved in and pretending not one student moved out. And with that being the case, you take a look at the current 12th graders in November, 202 of them, and the current kindergartners in November, 108 of them. Last year, that was 100, and the year before that, it was 117, 124, and then those were the incoming kindergarten classes. And then in 2021, that incoming kindergarten class was 128. I remember that because someone who lives in my house is in that class. But so you could see it only grown from 128 to 133. Pilar Corridor, our registrar's office, it has become noticeably more vacant this year. We are seeing less new enrollments than we had. That's important because the unadjusted enrollment at this point, if 100 to 110 kids come in next year into kindergarten and 202 leave, 5% decrease in the district. That will definitely require our attention in terms of expenditures, right? It was less of a drop like that in previous years because in the 23-24 year, for example, there was a lot of transients. We had 227 new enrollees throughout that year, excluding that fresh kindergarten class. 227 new enrollees came in at some point, so Pilar's office very busy. And then we had 167, I think 167 or 176 leave. And so not one for one, but lots of in and out. That still kept the number higher, right? Because the difference between the number of kids coming in and the number of kids leaving was still higher than the number of kids leaving 12th grade or the number of kids coming in kindergarten, if that makes sense. Makes sense in my head. So with federal enforcement of immigration policy, I think there is a correlation to the number of new enrollments that we're seeing. Not maybe causation, but there is a correlation there. Housing prices continuing to be what they are, the rental market continuing to be what it is also a factor. And so enrollment's something that we're going to really need to keep an eye on moving forward. I'm going to talk more in depth about this, like what more can he say about enrollment, but again, and I'm going to in December, so as we kick off the budget process. Number of other items going on around the district. I'm going to ask some of our leadership team to participate in these updates, kind of give you a sense of the multifaceted day-to-day that we experience in Hampton Bay. So let me turn it over to Eric to talk about what's going on in educational services.
Thank you, Mr. Clemenson. Yeah, 3 updates for the fall. On Election Day, Superintendent's Conference Day, we hosted the United States Secret Service here, and we had a training that was not just for this district, but it was targeted to this district, open to really all of Long Island. The Secret Service came in, they did a presentation on behavioral threat assessment. Basically, obviously, they are the absolute experts nationally, federally, on what makes students and just the public do things that, we look and watch on the news days later, school shootings, mass shooting, things like that. So they came in. We actually invited them. We haven't had a presentation on Long Island since 2017. They are the experts on this, so we made the connection through the Southampton Police. They came in, we opened it up to our district, but like I said, we had participants from Montauk all the way out to Garden City, Glen Cove, Rockville Center. That was law enforcement, those were educators, school superintendents, principals, social workers, all our support staff. This was open to anyone who wanted to attend. We did target Election Day because we know that schools are in session, generally speaking, but students are not in school, so it's a good day to have some PD. We had over 200 participants at that training, which the Secret Service was really impressed with, that we had, that much mobilization. So, every department every police department on the East End was here. Suffolk, Nassau Police was here, the sheriff. So really, it was a tremendous day. We worked with the Southampton Police to organize lunch also because it was an extensive training. It was several hours long, and just the week after they left, they had alluded to, the Secret Service released an updated protocol on behavioral threat assessment, really just looking for the warning signs of a kid who may be coming, or a person who may be becoming radicalized in their thought, disengaging from their friend group or their family groups, just behavioral shifts, things to look at. So super informative training, and the Secret Service did say that we'd love to do it again at some point. So maybe not next year, but in a few years, we definitely would look to work with them again. So that was a huge success. Moving over to SNAP and Food for Thought. Food for Thought is our school-based food pantry. It's a partnership with Stop and Shop. We've had it since 2021. I just actually reapplied for it. But with the suspension of SNAP, the federal government, the federal program for food assistance, we definitely saw an increase in the amount of families that were coming to the school looking for, just basic food goods, hygiene goods. Currently I know this because I just updated for next year's application. Currently we're weekly serving about 48 families for food assistance. So that's a pretty high number if you consider that's mostly between the high school and middle school. So these support teams are organizing for the holidays right now. It's a really busy time, and people are feeling very generous at this time of year every year. So we try to at least take care of those holidays for those families, but also use it as a chance to up our bank. So we can take in more donations and keep our bank high and healthy. Every food pantry and food bank you work with or you talk to, they always say everyone wants to give it the holidays, but it's March, it's April when you're really running low on your supplies. Out here, especially because you have so much seasonal work, March, April really tend to be the high need times, that dead of winter, February. So, I know the Lions are super generous, the Kiwanis also, so they help out, and, we do stock gift cards for people over the year as the year goes on. Our hope is, because we have a dry food pantry, we can't provide your cold goods, your meats, your cheeses, things like that. So every family of I think nearly 70 we're sponsoring this holiday season right now will get a basket of goods, but plus a gift card to supplement from Stop and Shop to supplement for those things, those perishable items. So that's very exciting. And a member of your Board of Education's daughter recently reached out. She's trying to run a little initiative to help us out, so it's very, very appreciative. Last thing, we don't know who about that, Liz Scully. Last thing, we just on your agenda is an agreement for entering into an MOU with the Association for Mental Health and Wellness. This came about, basically, it's a grant that a district that's selected will receive the services of a social worker for 1 day per week. No cost to us at all. The only ask in turn is that on our end, the district does something to heighten awareness of social health and mental awareness. So we're doing that by organizing a club at the middle school level called the Empowerment Club. This is really going to feed into a larger narrative of getting kids to start younger, talking about social health and mental awareness, and hopefully carrying off into a pipeline of career some way down the road. So really exciting things. There's definitely a need. we have, when I started in this district, I think we had 1 social worker. We're up to 5 now, and they're always busy, so there's definitely a need there. Last thing, along with food for thought, you'll be seeing these in the lobbies, collection bins, because there was a social media post that people were asking, can we donate to the schools, knowing that we have the food for thought school-based food pantry program. So we did some quick work with our friends at Fisher Signs and got some signage, and we're getting some bins delivered tomorrow. So we'll start collecting also for the holidays. I know it happens in pockets everywhere, but people see the school as really a lot of times the center of the community. So that'll be each building. All right. Thank you.
Just want to make a, do you want to, Rich? Did you say, no?
No, nice.
Oh, okay. Just a note on the SNAP benefits. So when the SNAP benefits ran out on October 31st, we did some quick work with our business office to just ascertain how many individuals receive SNAP benefits. That's what's called direct certification. So we get that information from social services because it is a formal process that you have to qualify for and register for. There were less families on under SNAP than I expected, but we learned that there are more families on Medicaid, which is another assistance program. And so with those benefits were not curtailed in the federal government shutdown. So we were able to work with the work Eric's doing to support Food for Thought. We also work with the town board. Councilman Iacilli and Councilwoman McNamara sponsored a grant for $6,000 so that is proportionate to the number of SNAP beneficiaries in your district for Southampton Town School Districts to make access to those funds as well. But something to put on the horizon is that the continuing resolution that reopened the federal government brings us through January. And so it would be foolish to think that in January something is going to seem different than it did September, right? We've experienced this too many times. And so in the budget proposal, in the president's budget proposal, that was the cause of the shutdown initially in September, there are significant cuts to Medicaid that are proposed. In addition to cuts to education dollars, Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV, that totals about $140,000 in Hampton Bays. There's a site you can go on and go by state to congressional district to your school district. So just in the title grants alone, $140,000 reduction. In New York State, the top 2 budget items in the New York State budget each year are Medicaid and public education. A lot of the Medicaid dollars are flow through from the federal government to the states, and then the states administer their programs. If that money gets cut and title monies get cut at the federal level, that means less title money that goes to the state education department. It's formula driven, so we don't have to fight other school districts for it. But if there's less money, the formula is just going to give you less of what you are owed. All of that's to say, happy holidays. Like, that's not great news, right? Because those are compounding effects, right? It's not just a cut to one thing. It's a cut to multiple things that support us. And if New York State wants to maintain its commitment to Medicaid, and it does, the governor has publicly said that, the money needs to come from somewhere. When you add up every other dollar spent in the New York State budget, it doesn't come close to what New York State spends altogether. Doesn't come close to what New York State spends on public education and Medicaid. So Larry's got a difficult job ahead as we enter the budget season, but none of these things are happening in a vacuum. When I talk about enrollment, when I talk about taxes, when I talk about the federal budget and the advocacy that we need to do there, and the state budget and the advocacy that we need to do there, all of these things are related. The Association for Mental Health and Wellness, I just want to recognize and thank the Rotary Club of Hampton Bays, the club that was part of the grant, the Empowerment Club that we're starting at the middle school. The Rotary Club, for the duration of this grant, which is through June 30th, is sponsoring the stipend for the faculty member to run that club. So thank you to them for that. I want to ask Diane, where's Diane, to come up and talk about 3 things that she's working on right now.
Good evening. It's nice to be able to come here this evening and just give you some updates on some of the various projects going throughout the district. So you might remember, board members, a couple of months ago, towards the end of last year, Site One Landscape Supply had generously donated over $5,000 of materials plus labor to the middle school community garden. It was in need of some updating. We had, between the beds, we had updated the beds over the years. We had composed or built a 3 compost bin system for our community members, kind of always trying to be mindful of having an organic garden, reusing any scraps. So we have definitely made some updates over the years, but Site One had just called us, and just wanting to donate some services, wanting to donate some supplies, and it came through a former student that had gone through the middle school, Alex Velasquez. He had contacted me, shared about his positive experiences at Hampton Bays Middle School, remembers Mr. Neiderger's classes and the fish tank, and just, recalled a lot of good memories. And when it came to the team or their company kind of saying that they wanted to reach out to the local community and donate some services, he right away volunteered Hampton Bays without even contacting me first. He was like, I want to bring money to you. We want to update something. We want to do something beautiful for your students. So, of course, we said yes, sign us up. And 2 weekends ago, they were able to complete the project. They donated bluestone gravel, which is, if you have garden at home, it's definitely a material that's not easy to come by, especially in large amounts. But they were able to put down some landscape weed barrier, industrial strength, so like the weeds are not going to find their way through this. They put the bluestone gravel on top. They provided garden bed borders for all the interior of the garden. They updated, took away some of the bricks, and they put like very strong, thick garden bed borders to kind of keep everything neat. And the kids have been out there with the garden club. Every week they are out there. They are helping now the community members to actually weed all their beds, put everything to sleep for the winter time, and then they're going to be starting their own seeds indoors and then bringing them out. We have about half of the garden beds are being used by different classroom teachers in the elementary school and the middle school. So just some great updates there, and we'll continuously, we'll keep looking for applying for different grants. Suffolk County Water District, they've been wonderful in giving us grants throughout the past years for some of the updates, so we'll be reapplying for those grants this upcoming year. We have some friends in People's Alliance Federal Credit Union. So as you all know, we have been making a big push for financial literacy throughout the district. And part of those partnerships that we look for is different experiences that are unique for kids to really bring financial literacy to life. Not just doing a workbook, not just learning what a budget is, but really looking at how does financial literacy apply to your real life. So there is a fairly new program that's been executed in a couple of different schools throughout the country, but it hasn't really been done in Suffolk County. And so I'm happy to say that we are going to be bringing what's called Bite of Reality. It's an app-based program simulation for students, and we are just in the early planning stages of this program, but in February we are looking to have a simulation for our high school students in which students are going to be assigned randomly through the app a specific budget. With that budget, students will have to buy a car. So they're going to have to deal with like the salesperson that's trying to keep you as long as possible until you give up and give them all your money. They're going to have to deal with a realtor that wants to make a big commission. So, looking at housing prices on the East End, what that looks like. They're going to also be assigned a role. So they'll be they might be single, they might be married with 2 kids, they might be just starting out, they might be a retired, maybe part of a retired couple. It's all totally random, but the kids basically have to learn how to budget their money. And in the app, it'll all of a sudden pop up on a device saying you have an unexpected expense. So it's like Monopoly on steroids. That's the way I'm kind of, imagining it. It's going to really bring, again, that financial literacy piece to life. So we are hoping to get Mr. Verdone's, business students involved, and not just his classes, but really maybe do this across the grade levels. We're going to be mostly looking at our seniors because they're about to kind of, leave the nest of Hampton Bays and kind of go out into the future, and we want to make sure that they're prepared for that. One of the other ways that we're trying to prepare our kids is also by looking at their college futures, and this is where Stony Brook University, which has been a great partner of ours throughout the years, they have created a new program called the Stony Brook University Future Scholars, and this program is aimed at 8th grade students in particular. We have 21 Hampton Bays HBMS students that are attending Stony Brook University at the Southampton campus. They're bringing that campus back to life, and this is one of the ways they're doing it. Hampton Bays was selected along with a couple of other East End districts, including Southampton. Bridgehampton is also included in that. And what these 8th grade students get is once a month. They've attended 2 sessions now. It started in October, and I'll go into more detail hopefully next month with pictures. But we will be having our 21 8th grade students are getting a college experience once a month. They are working with current college students. They are working with professors. They are working with mentors at the Stony Brook campus, and they get these college experiences in like 5-hour snippets. So we have 3 of our 7th and 8th grade teachers chaperoning these students on these field trips. Last week, they went to a Stony Brook University football game at the main campus. The kids didn't want to leave. They had to leave early to get home by a decent time, but they did not want to leave that football game. I believe they won, so everyone was very excited. Our 8th graders are getting tons of SBU swag. They have their red shirts. They're taking pictures with Wofi. If you went to Stony Brook, you know the Sea-Wof, and Wofi is very popular. And they're just going to really learn what it takes as an 8th grade student, as a 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade student, what it takes to get into college, to apply for college, and maybe what they want to study before they get there. Have a plan. So this is a program that every year we will be selecting more students for the program. And I will go into more detail about it next month, but I just wanted to share that the kids are having a blast. They are having an amazing time on the campuses, just learning all about college, and the families are involved in it too. They had a huge kickoff last month with families, and it was really nice to see how these kids are engaging on a college campus. So thank you.
Thank you, Diane. At the finish line, if the student persists through the program, graduates from Hampton Bays, and obtains admission to Stony Brook on their own merits, they'll receive a full tuition for 4 years at Stony Brook using their Pell Grant program. So they've been identified as rising 8th graders, first-generation college students. And to quote the president of Stony Brook, he said, we put our arms around them and then we bring them forward. They don't have to go to Stony Brook, but if it's free,
yeah, it's a great mentorship program, and the kids are just learning all about college, and because they are first-generation students, it's their first experience, and the parents couldn't be more thrilled. All I've been hearing from parents is how thankful they are that their kids are getting this type of opportunity that maybe they didn't have themselves, or other children that they have, older children maybe didn't have, and they're getting walked through the process as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stony Brook continues to be a good partner of ours, and for current seniors. Stony Brook, in partnership with Suffolk Community College, I mentioned this very briefly at our October meeting, but Suffolk and Stony Brook are developing an early college high school program, which is different than the really robust Beacon program and dual enrollment program that we have here with Farmingdale and Stony Brook and Suffolk and Albany and St. Joseph's. This is where seniors would leave school, leave us midday. They'd come in, and maybe they're a music student, and then they'd go to Stony Brook, Southampton, and take 1 or 2 or 3 Suffolk classes and one-hour freshman seminar once a week on campus with existing college students. So our seniors would not know, the professor wouldn't know who's an early college student kid and who's a matriculated student at the university. Those credits would transfer 100% to Suffolk, of course, because of Suffolk courses, but then also if a student then went to Suffolk and got their associate's degree, it would transfer fully to Stony Brook, Southampton, or Stony Brook itself. Stony Brook, Southampton's capacity is limited to be a fully functioning university with many bachelor's programs, and so they'll need to rely on programs like Suffolk Community College to do what they call 2+2 programs, where you can get started, and you can get started at the Riverhead campus, but Suffolk and Stony Brook see some benefit into bringing something east of the canal, not just for our students, but for matriculated Suffolk students who are east of the campus in Southampton, that they won't, for those classes, have to go all the way to Riverhead. It's $99 a credit, so for less than $300, they're getting a college course, and they might get 2 under their belt in senior year. It could grow to something bigger where it's offered every day. Right now, we'll be starting in the spring with just Tuesday, Thursday. We've identified 4 students that this can work, but Mr. Morgan, in building the master schedule for next year, will be able to pick these classes into the master schedule so that we don't, and if a student is interested in the program, they can course select that in January. We had to back into it this year because the schedules are already made and the pilot and the schedules didn't align quite exactly. So more to come on that, but we're going to enter the matriculation and registration phase for Suffolk in the next couple of weeks when we come back from Thanksgiving. So we'll give you a better sense of how that program's taking off. It's a big investment for Suffolk and Stony Brook, Southampton right now because it's a pilot. And so the classes are capped at 30. Kids are on the campus, and again, they're not distinguished differently. They don't sit somewhere else when it's their spring break, and when it's our spring break, it's not colleges, and so they're expected to go. So it's really like leveling up a little bit. I want to turn it to Mike for a minute to just talk about another resolution that you're going to vote on tonight with Yale University.
Good evening, everyone.
You didn't put your picture up.
What's that?
You didn't put your picture up.
No, my picture would have been a bit embarrassing, but good evening. Before I get into Yale, I just wanted to talk about our efforts with AI, and I had a recent conversation after the last superintendent's conference day with Jake Davidson, which involved a bunch of like bro, you know. And like we're thinking back, the two of us are going back saying bro to each other about like this is my 29th year. Like his, I think he's a little bit further down the road. Like we started with, like when I started, we used phone books, you know. He's like, bro, I think he said, bro, I used a phone that was attached to a wall. But here we are, and AI has really, across the board, which is really a nice dynamic right now, across the board, no matter how long you've been in education, whether it's your newest faculty member to those who have been around for a while, I mean, everyone is extremely excited about what this is going to do to enhance our capacity to educate children. And we've started to use Gemini, which is Google's form of AI, which is integrated within our learning management system, and teaching teachers to utilize it to unpack standards, to gamify education, just to ask questions about what else could I do differently here, and have it specific to grade level has been amazing. We can analyze data at a totally different in a totally different way now by just plugging in a spreadsheet or a PDF that comes out of our BARS reports for Regents exams, asks for strengths, but also asks for areas of improvement and instructional considerations. And as we see what comes out, it is extremely relevant to what we can utilize. And people are just amazed by it. Recently, we just built through Gemini self-help guides for parents for each one of the levels of Fontaine-Pinnell. And that can now be handed to somebody so that they can help strengthen their child's literacy skills at home after we have our November parent-teacher conferences. It's now integrated in Google Classroom. So our teachers have used it to ask for creating writing prompts, hooks for lessons. You can create leveled readers, choice boards, and extremely personalized, high-interest decodable text, to say the least. We've also introduced Notebook LM, which I think has been a relief to faculty too, because what we've learned from AI is that if you just use it randomly, you don't know what resources it's pulling from. We see that with ChatGPT. We've heard the stories. We've had, we've heard about the lawyers that might present a case using AI only to find out that it's been referencing fictitious court cases. So AI just in general sometimes is unnerving to people. But what Notebook LM does, it allows the teacher to load specific verified sources that they may have created themselves, and it synthesizes that information to a degree that they can manipulate it like they haven't done before. And some of the features are amazing. What you can now do is take the information that, let's say a child was absent, take the information that they should have been presented, put into Notebook LM, and what will come out is, in essence, a podcast between two people that are talking about it that a child can listen to in any language. And furthermore, what they can do is push a button to interact with the two people that are virtual. And when they push it, the two people will say, "We have somebody here. Would you like to ask a question?" And they'll ask a question and they'll respond directly to that student's question. In addition to that, and something that we might be able to add to our self-help guides for parents is we can do fully automated and animated presentations with a voiceover. So if a parent didn't want to necessarily read about how they could support their child at home with reading skills, they can now listen to it. Again, through the use of a QR code and in any language. So we're really excited about it. We appreciate, our tech support team, in addition to the efforts of our teachers to build capacity so that, our hope is by next year that these will be utilized and taught, within a classroom. Many of them being utilized as, through display, but giving children that ability or students that ability to use these features is going to be amazing as well. But our job right now is just become comfortable with this technology ourselves and then start to introduce that within our classrooms. Another great thing that we did during Superintendent's Conference Day, and I thank our librarians, Mrs. Bishop, Ms. Boda, and our newest member, Ms. Piazza, as well as our tech team. We got trained by Peconic Teacher Center. They allowed us to have on loan about 20 VR headsets. We had a great training, and we turnkeyed that to about 40 to 50 people over the last 2 weeks. And it's amazing what you put on those headsets. In essence, you're in a virtual barrier. You get immersed, within the human body. So if you're talking about the circulation system, you're within it. If you're talking about the savannah and the environment, you're walking among, giraffes. Really incredible stuff. In addition to that, we're going to be able to do college tours with a headset on, again, in any language where students might be able to interact with people on campus, not in live time, but, recording, but with some sort of AI feature. They can go to historical sites. They'd be able to travel across the world in a really amazing environment. So another great addition to our toolbox with respect to technology. Lastly, as Mr. Clemenson had pointed out, our high school was selected to be part of a study with the Yale Center of Emotional Intelligence. And with that, we're receiving free training over the last 6 weeks. We have a team that's headed by Mr. Foster, which includes myself, our high school psychologist, Michelle de Blasio, our social worker, Nicole Selge, and Jamie Meyer, who heads our early childhood education. We are getting trained over the next 6 weeks. They told us that we don't get an official Yale graduation, but we do get a certificate that I'm sure we'll parade around with once it's over. But it's been wonderful. Every week we get to work with a psychologist to debrief about the training that we're doing online as a team. The acronym RULER spells out 5 skills: recognizing emotions in oneself and others, understanding the causes and consequences of emotions, labeling emotions with precise vocabulary, exploring emotions appropriately, and regulating emotions effectively. So the point of this is to train staff first to utilize this system ourselves. What they have said is that you really need to have the ability to have a common language about emotions. You have to be able to self-identify. You have to have the ability to de-escalate, but also, be able to be given a tool where it's visual. So there's a 4-quadrant system where you will, on one axis, it's energy. The other axis, it's positivity. So if you think about those things, if you're high energy, high positivity, you're happy. So getting students and faculty to kind of understand their own emotions so that we can have the skills in which to talk about them in a greater degree is going to have a really positive effect on the overall climate and culture. So this begins, our faculty have already been surveyed. Our students will begin to be surveyed through a company that Yale will utilize. And that survey we've reviewed. In essence, what it is it's measuring a student's ability to relate or express their emotions verbally. It's an anonymous survey. Students will not be identified by name. No personal information will be shared with the university. It's going to be taken at 3 different times so they could see, as they learn this new system, is it having an impact on their ability to express and deal with their emotions.
Questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Carlson. The Yale SMOU is under contracts tonight as a resolution for recommended approval. That is it for my report. Happy Thanksgiving. And as we go through the consent agenda, I will answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will do, if there's no question, the consent agenda from 4A to 4E. I will need a motion.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Student Services is on its own, 5A. We need a motion.
Motion.
We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 6A to 6I. We need a motion.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. Board of Education is 7A to 7C. If there's no questions, we need a motion.
Motion.
We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 8, public comments. Persons may address the Board of Education on matters of interest or concern in accordance with the applicable state and federal law and Board of Education Policy 1230, governing the rules of public comment and board meetings. The Board President will recognize all speakers. Please identify yourself, your town, and the topic in which you will be speaking, and time limits will be imposed based upon agenda needs. All right, if we don't have anything else, I need a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Motion.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. Thank you all. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And faculty, thank you for all you've done. Appreciate it.
Good job, guys.